I was in Cape Town for the first time, taking a walk as I enjoyed the mountains, the oceans, the breeze, the vibe. You guys have seen the stunning and the beautiful space that Cape Town is, until I saw this guy. He was barefoot, begging, holding this paper-ish that was very dirty. A white man. Let me tell you, I was shook. And for a minute, I didn't know what to do with this image, because you know where I come from. I am Kenyan, and we are taught directly or indirectly that white people are the guys with the money, are the guys who have made it. If you move to Europe or to America, then your life has become a success. But coming to Cape Town and seeing a white homeless man was very surprising. And welcome to this video as we talk about one of my biggest culture shock in South Africa. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, my name is Queen Desta, and let me take you back before we discuss about my biggest culture shock here in South Africa. Let's set a little bit like a scene, So I have traveled to over 20, close to 30 African countries, which we thank the Lord with all humility. And I have been able to see different customs, different way of doing life, different cultures, different concepts, just different ways in which African people live. And by that I mean people that reside in Africa, well, even those who have moved in and all those good stuff. And therefore, going to South Africa, I had an idea of what to expect about its beauty, about the pains, about the challenges, all these things. Like we have social media that gives us all this information. Well, apart from social media, we also have the media. We just have the world that keeps on educating us about what you should expect in these different places. But it's one thing to hear something, and it's another thing to see it for yourself. It's another thing to, they say to see sometimes is to believe. And that's what we're going to be discussing about today, about my biggest culture shock and how that happened, and just a few thoughts and opinions that I have towards this whole discussion. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 40,000 subscribers, okay? Please subscribe to the channel. Also, you can join our travel group where we get to discuss tips and tricks on how you can also get to travel to explore different places in the world, as well as join our group trips that are coming to countries like Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, South Africa, and the like. So let's get into the story of how this happened. So by now I have given you all the clues, but let me speak it out loud. My biggest culture shock in South Africa was actually seeing whitely homeless people. It started on this day that I went to the beach, and I was just having a good time. Like, you're just taking a stroll and everything, and you see people coming to you. Not so many, I have to say. Like, not so many people that come to you to ask, like, can I take photos of you? Can I sell you ice cream? Like, just people vend in beaches, just like I've seen in many places. So I thought this is the whole vibe that's going on. And I like to chit chat with people, and I got to meet people from different places. I met a South African, I met a Zimbabwean, and they even got to tell me about how business is and how they are in the hustle and just looking to make ends meet, Until I turn and I'm like looking at this, there's all these white people around me having a good time in this luxurious space. Well, also Black people as well, just having a good time, just like me, who had gone there to have a good time. And but you can also see like a lot of white people having fun, until I look on this other side and I'm seeing this white guy that is just walking around holding this like big bag and is just homeless. Then I'm asking a local that I was with, and they were like, oh yeah, that's a homeless person. And I was surprised, because you guys, I don't know if you get it. Me as a Kenyan, we do see white people, especially like in Mombasa and Nairobi. And the majority of them that you see is inside like malls, inside big hotels, like 5 stars, doing things that maybe a local Kenyan might not be able to get it in everyday to-day life. When you go to like the coast, there's even like places that I've even had people saying like they do not allow even us as Kenyans to go in, you know, because we can't afford it, I guess, or let's say a room for racism. But that's a whole discussion that is different. But you get the idea. I have been told to know that, you know, life is easier in places that you will find more white people. So being in South Africa and seeing this guy, and you would think it was only this one. I thought it's okay, fine, that person decided to be a drug addict and maybe their life is not good and everything, until another time we're just taking a walk and I find like this white dirty looking people and they are smoking and all, and I'm told, oh yeah, those ones, they live in the shelters, they've been set aside by the government, I don't know, something like this. These are not even things we have like in my country for like homeless people. And it just shook me, like, what happened? You guys, you took away all our things. How comes you're still now broke? What's going on? You know, like sometimes they say as black people that you should ask your grandfather why was your grandfather when they were stealing land, like when, you know, like the people that stole land and now they are rich just because of inheritance. And this leads me to being like, if I'm being asked that question as a black person and I'm not even doing bad, what about this white person who's homeless? Like, what happened to your privilege? What happened to this whole idea? It just, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And maybe because of the places I was at, I kept seeing more and more of white people, and for sure the reality of accepting and me being like, you know what, poverty does not know race. It can come to anybody. Yeah, but I did get to ask some locals on some of the ideas and what they had to say. Like I texted some and this is what they had to say. I was like, hey, you didn't tell me this issue, like homelessness or poverty is not an African thing. You didn't tell me that we are just defined by it, but it is not necessarily our thing. It does affect everyone. And this is what they had to say. This is what a South African told me, that apartheid is the first time I'm hearing this word. Well, not in the same context that we're going to understand. But anyway, listen to me. Apartheid gave white people a head start, but not everyone maintained it, and some never had it in the first place. And of course I had to be like, what do you mean by apartheid? And the fact that you're saying that these people were given, you know, like a privilege, if I would call it that, why then how are you not able to maintain? What did you do? What did you do with the money? What did you know, like what did you do with the land? What did you do with the opportunities and things like this? Anyway, this was a system that was institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination that was enforced in the South African government from 1948 to 1990s. And what that looks like is white South Africans who are the minority had control over the country's politics, economy, and land. Black South Africans were forced to live in separate areas, often the poor and underdeveloped. They had limited rights and were denied access to quality education, jobs, and political representation. And that makes me think, okay, wait 1 minute. Mixed race relationships and marriages were banned. Oh, wow. Public facilities, schools, transport, and even beaches, they were segregated. And you know when these systems stopped operating? Well, the system was designed to maintain white supremacy and privilege while oppressing the majority black population. And this only ended in 1994 when Nelson Mandela became the South African first black president and a new democratic constitution was adopted. And this makes me even take a minute to appreciate all the rich black people that we see in South Africa, or even just someone that's doing well, someone that's able to get food, they're not homeless, they're able to live a comfortable life. Call it average. South Africans are living good, you know, like 1994 is not a very long time. Like this is so recent, and the fact that some people are able to make life make sense despite having to rise above this just makes me respect black people and even black South Africans on that matter. I know we're talking about white poverty and stuff like this because it was one of my biggest shock. And listen, let me also put a more context. So as I travel, I get to meet, so it's not like all my head thinks is white people are just rich or they just have money. That's not always what I'm thinking. As I'm traveling, I get to meet with white people, even those that are traveling from Europe, from America, from Australia, Canada, you name it. And I've interacted with them, and it just is always a very interesting story when you're even making like a walk with, like you're taking a walk, or maybe you're touring a place with someone. People look at you like you have, oh well, like my bills have been sorted. Even when I'm just walking with someone that everyone sorts their own bill, we have no financial attachment or things like this. But the expectation of people, I have seen it, they bring the bill to the person, they don't bring it to me, despite maybe it's even I'm the one who is paying, you know. Like I've been even in backpackers, I've seen white people who are traveling and they are like on a budget and stuff like this. So I knew the whole idea of like, just because someone is white does not mean they are millionaires and billionaires and having all the money. But the whole idea of the fact that there are those that are just on the streets, despite the fact that when you think about white privilege, when even I think about the opportunity for me to even like leave this country to go to another place to find greener pastures, it's very easy for a white person compared to me as a black person, just because of all the things that are going on in the world. So being able to see someone that has just accepted, you know what, this is it, I'ma just be walking down in the streets collecting trash, you know, like I'm just gonna be living life homelessly. I'm just like, what? I cannot fathom this. I cannot understand. Maybe you guys can help me understand in the comment section, or maybe I am not supposed to understand this and just know, you know what, we as black people, we be smart people, we just need to keep believing in ourselves and continue educating ourselves with even having conversations like this ones, to know that we have actually risen from spaces that I think if this other person is being given these opportunities and they are trashing it, what about, and us who had zero opportunities or even less, you know, like had zero privilege, and we're able to rise to a higher place, how much powerful and how much things are we able to do, you know? So this was one of my biggest culture shock, and I thought like I should just do a whole entire video and let's have the discussion going down below. I just want to give a very big shout out to every black South African. You guys, you've risen a big one. The 1994 thing, I'm still shook, because it's one thing to talk about colonization and all those things. It's another thing to talk about, you know, like whatever your whole system looked like, and the fact that you have to continue living in that same system. And maybe in the future we will get more locals to come and talk to us about some of these challenges that they go through, how they're overcoming things, how life is now in 2025, you know, like just different perspective. And we keep learning and educating each other as we travel the world. Now, if you want to support the channel and you wonder how we can continue having this amazing, interesting, life impacting conversation, in the description box and on the first comment, you should be able to find ways in which you can support the channel, as well as feel free, you are welcome to join our travel group, where we're going to be, you know, supporting each other as we travel on this journey of seeing the truth of Africa and narrating the African stories as African. Let me know what other video you're interested in seeing about my stay here in Cape Town, in South Africa as a whole. Will do my best to try and visit more than just Cape Town and all those good stuff. For now, I'm just gonna say always remember to create time for that which ignites your soul. Until next time, bye for now.